Hello guys, welcome back, and today I am going to be continuing my playthrough of Iwaihime. Why don't we just jump right into it? My father considered living alone to be a trial of sorts for me. For generations, men of the Susuhara family had lived independently after reaching a certain age. Only once one had trained his body and mind without relying on others was he considered a full-fledged adult. I'd eagerly awaited this opportunity for as long as I could remember. That was why I'd studied up on all sorts of things in preparation for this day, so I could live on my own. Oh, I guess we're the guy now. I think I mentioned this last video, but hold on, sorry, this music is pretty loud. Just make sure. Yeah, okay. I think I mentioned this last video, but it's pretty much a trademark of Voodoo Kishi's to just randomly, shift perspectives without like any indication that it's happening, and you just have to like follow it.
これ、スズムの部屋の鍵。2階の202号室ね。
ありがとう。僕だけの家か。なんだかワクワクするな。
Kiko's family, the Harumiyas, Kiku being Tsubakiko. Did I say Kiku? I'm very sorry. Her full name was Tsubakiko Harumiya. Anyway, Kiko's family, the Harumiyas, were landlords who owned several apartment complexes in Susura. I'm sure they're fine people. This quaint two-story apartment complex, Residence Harumiya II, was one of them. And I would be living here. I opened the door to find a futon and stacks of cardboard boxes containing daily necessities waiting for me. The deliverymen had already made their rounds.
それにしても、ずいぶんいろいろと送ったね。男子なんて、せいぜい身の回りのものをカバンに詰め込んだらおしまいかと思ってたな。
What's that supposed to mean?
自炊しなさいって言って、母さんがフライパンとかお鍋とかも送ってくれたからね。
スズム、自炊なんてできるの？
What's that supposed to mean?
多少はできるつもりでいるよ。得意って胸を張れるほどじゃないけどね。キコちゃんはお料理とかってできるの？
こう見えても将来の夢はプリティな花嫁さんだしね。花嫁修行の一環としてお料理も欠かさずお勉強してるの。
I mean, you don't have to know how to cook to be a wife, you know.
デリシャスな手料理でスズムを脳殺しちゃうよ。
I don't know. I think this girl has some certain preconceptions that not necessary.
それはすごいや。今度ぜひご馳走してほしいな。
任せて。私も男子の舌に合うかどうか試したいと思ってたから。
It's not ubiquitous. Kiko nodded along, her eyes gleaming and her smile beaming. It seemed she'd been looking forward to living near a boy her age, what with being in the midst of adolescence and all.
ちなみに隣の201は私の部屋ね。壁薄いからね。聞き耳立てて乙女の秘密を聞こうとしたら血祭りにしちゃうからね。
Something tells me she wants that to happen.
しないよ、そんなこと。
You mentioned it might be easier to unpack with a box cutter and scissors. So Kiko left the room, saying she'd go get them. With the bright and cheery Kiko gone, a somewhat chilly stillness filled the room. The place hadn't been renovated, so there were faint traces of the previous owner's existence still lingering about. Replacing that with my presence and making the place my own would be among the greatest pleasures of living alone. But until then, I just have to put up with a bit of discomfort. Hey, it's a thing that happens when the title screen shows up here in Higurashi. Just then, long black hair gently tickled my cheek. No, it was just some falling dust. I looked up to the ceiling and discovered it was pitch black, like someone had painted it with soot. It fell gently like black snow. When I came to my senses, I found myself in a pitch black cloud filled with that falling snow. I couldn't see a thing. However, I could sense many presences. At that moment, I thought I could hear a female voice reading out something like a sutra at length. The voice sounded youthful, but I couldn't see her anywhere. Instead, a giant turquoise object shaped like a spindle, heavy and covered in rust, came to view. Nice turquoise. Pretty close to my favorite color, cyan. It felt like the voice was coming from within it. Many people were sitting around the object. The lights of many candles flickered about, giving the affair a ritualistic atmosphere. Candlelight danced in a cloud of black soot, illuminating the massive conical mass. It's a massive mass? I could hear the woman praying, singing inside of it. I couldn't help but wonder what in the world that thing was. My eyes were gradually drawn into it. The woman's chants broke into coughs from time to time. I could make a very easy joke right there, but I'm not going to. My heart wrenched at the sound. I felt like I was going to choke in the cloud of soot as well. Before I knew it, that bizarre object loomed over me like a massive mountain. It swallowed and squashed my consciousness whole. RIP. Guess that's the end of Iwaihime. Thank you guys for watching. No, okay. Suseda Prefectural High School, Class 2A, my class. Originally, the plan had been for me to transfer here a year ago, back when I was starting high school. But my mother fell ill just before the entrance exam, so I had to stay and help around at home. As a result, I was delayed. She eventually returned from the hospital with a clean bill of health, and so I finally started attending the school 1 year later. At first, I was worried a transfer student like me would attract all sorts of attention and have a hard time. But since there were so many students at the school and I just transferred in at the start of the school year, no one noticed. That was to be expected. The freshmen had 8 different classes, so there was no way the students would know everyone in their grade. Theo probably figured I had been in different classes last year, just some classmate they hadn't bumped into until now. So no one had any reason to think I was a transfer student unless I told them. That made things much easier for me. What's more, every day at this school wasn't just easy, it was actually pleasant. As for why? Well, first of all, Kiko was in the same class. Listen here, you little.
眠すぎて授業が終わってもスリスリスリーピーだよ。
ノートちゃんと取ってた？テストに出るって言ってたよ。
え、そんなこと言ってた？
よかったら僕のノートを写す？
すずむ、サンキューだよ。よいしょ。すずむのノート。
何？字汚かった？
女子力高い。
You need to chill. Is this like your one character trait?
なんでこんなにふわふわに書いてあるわけ？すずむの文字丸すぎ。かわいすぎ。
そうかな。子供みたいな字で恥ずかしいよ。
あとイラストいっぱい、吹き出しいっぱい。 こがポイント
ポイントだにゃ。
だにゃ。何これ、高すぎる。女子力が高すぎる。
You got a problem? Compared to mine, Kiko's handwriting was rather dull and simplistic. Her boredom with school was palpable from her notes alone.
進む、あんたのノートいくら出したら私のノートってことにしてくれる？
ダメだよ。勉強は自分で書いて覚えなきゃ。
勉強はどうでもいいから、あんたの女子力少し私に分けなさいよ。これ鈴原くんのノートなの？かわいい、わかりやすい。
For some reason, girls had always liked me. Not like I had a clue why. But I had guy friends too.
さすがは鈴原、相変わらずグレートな男だぜ。
Oh no. Oh no, no, no.
光と影あらば男と女あり。グレートな男になるためには女子力も必要ってわけだな。
I take that back. I love this guy.
それは誤解だよ。
いいや、謙遜するな。俺はめめしいなんて思ってないぜ。お前のグレートな全てを吸収してやる。見ろ、俺のノート。
うわー。
Of course, his name is Natsu. Natsu meaning summer. Natsu proudly displayed his notebook filled to the brim with drawings. Though it looked like he had more drawings than actual notes. That's what mine looked like too.
落書きでいっぱい。
Hey, chill.
グレート可愛いだろ。俺も自分の中に女子力が眠っていたのかと驚いているぜ。
うん、かわいいな。これライオン？
惜しいな。それは猫ちゃんだ。にゃーん。
This man is precious and we need to protect him.
私には四則銃であることさえわかんないんだけど。
イラストがいっぱいで楽しいノートになってるね。夏くんはすごいな。
俺なんかまだまだだぜ。必ず鈴原の域にグレートゾーンに達してやるぜ。
Okay. This was Natsuya Atsuta, my best friend. He was a very unique and funny guy. I don't know why, but he'd taken a liking to me ever since we met at the opening ceremony.
ハルミヤも俺に女子力で負けてるようじゃまだまだだな。
Can we just ditch Tsuakiko and like ride off into the distance together?
あんたにだけは言われたくない。
あのさ、よく二人が僕に女子力って言うけど、女子力って何？
説明の必要はねえ。鈴原のグレートな一面の一つに過ぎないぜ。
Great だぜ。
大体ね、スズムは生まれてくる性別を間違えてると思う。私が女子力を身につけるために日々どれだけ花嫁修行してると思ってんの？
そうだな、日々修行だぜ。俺ももっと可愛いイラストでノートを埋められるよう修行するぜ。
あつたくんはちょっと黙ってて。でも鈴原くんってすごいよね。武道やってるんだって。すっごい強いらしいよ。
当たり前だろ。あれでなよなよしてたらただのオカマ野郎だぜ。鈴原のグレートなところは男としての強さを持ちながら女のような繊細さを併せ持つところさ。
確かにすっごい腕力だよね。ずっと鍛えてるそうだし。
それだけじゃねえ。あいつの拳を見てみろ。あれはかなりグレートな修羅場をくぐった拳だぜ。
What are you talking about?
これはちょっとささくれちゃってて。 クリームとか塗ってるんだけどね。
My father ran a martial arts dojo. As a result, he had trained me ever since I was little. Said training involved punching trees wrapped in straw and the like, so my hands were pretty roughed up. Oh, so it actually is about, like, fighting and toughness. I thought he just, like... I thought he just, like, worked in, like, a restaurant business or something. Though I guess that might have made me stronger than the average person, too. On the first day of school, I had accidentally made eye contact with the Nazi and he challenged me to an arm wrestling match on the spot, which I won. Afterwards, he said that was the first time he'd lost, and I'd cut his eye and so on. He's been fond of me ever since. That's beautiful. Okay.
グレート夏也に生まれ変わって悪を拳で打ち砕きて。
うちのは武道とは言っても戦う武道じゃないし。
そうだよな。武道は戦うためのものじゃねえ。守るためのものだもんな。それでこそススハラ、やっぱりグレートな男だぜ。
ありがとう。
見てなさいよスズム。次の授業はめっちゃキュートなノートを取って私の女子力を証明してやるんだから。
あら、かわいいイラストがいっぱいのノートね。誰のノートなの？
うわ、雛形先生だ。次補体だぜ。
雛形先生、これ見てください。このススハラくんのノート。男子の分際でこんな可愛いノートが取れるなんて裏山許せません。
そんなに可愛く書いてるつもりはないんだけどな。
ススハラくんはお勉強を楽しんでるから、それがこういう形で現れるのね。
You don't really look like a teacher, but...
勉強も人生も何も塗ってない食パンと同じなの。
What? I think we got the message, right? This is the theme of the story? We can just leave it here. Okay.
そのまま食べても味気ないのは当然。そうでしょ?
Listen, I like flavor as much as you do, but white bread isn't that bad, okay?
確かに。あのクソつまらねえ社会の授業はそのままじゃ干からびた食パンも同然。
Chill.
その授業にこの可愛いイラストで彩りを添えたと。
そうしたらもっと社会の授業を好きに。
味気ない日常に潤いを与えるのもまた素敵な女子力だと思うわよ。ああ、私も身につけたいわね。
What's that supposed to mean?
私も頑張って身につけます。
さすがはススハラだぜ。やっぱりグレートだぜ。
そんなにみんなに褒められることをしたつもりはないんだ。
そういう気持ちで書いたから素敵なのよ。もしこれが可愛さアピールで狙って書いてたらススハラくんはとんだ腹黒作詞ね。
Forgive me if that was caught on audio.
作詞？やっぱりこれも計算なのか。やっぱりススハラはグレートだぜ。
よくわかんないけど褒めてくれて嬉しいな。
あんまり褒めてる部類には入んないと思う。
チャイムよ。みんな着席して。次は先生の楽しい保健体育の時間よ。
Okay, we can ditch this one.
雛形先生の授業は楽しいから好きだな。
先生は男子に人気あるからね。みんなあの大きい胸が気になるんでしょう。
Is this a thing you can just kind of like say in front of your teacher?
当たり前だぜ。あの中には男の夢とロマンが8切れんばかりに詰まってるんだぜ。
残念でした。正解は志望と入選です。
さすがキコちゃん、勉強してるな。
Okay. Izumu couldn't be happier with his school life. And now we're switching perspective again. We're in third person now. He integrated perfectly into the class, and each day was just as satisfying as the last. It wasn't just Suzumu either. Everyone in the class was happy. They were basking in the glory of their adolescent days. I'm sure this will last. This is not foreshadowing in the slightest. Suzumu's classmates all took their seats as they reluctantly ended their conversations. Everyone bowed as commanded by the class representative, and the once lively classroom fell silent once again. Silence was abruptly broken by the sound of the rear door opening, attracting the attention of the entire class. Oh, hi. Ohio? 2A was a class where anyone could enjoy themselves. Everyone there felt that way. But there was one person they all avoided. That someone was her.
黒髪さん、着席なさいな。
Listen, I'm not a huge fan of another. That anime was kinda... kinda poorly written, but...
何？
no.
そう、着席して。ページは38ページよ。
Miss Hinagata smiled as she responded, but it wasn't like they were carrying on a conversation. Indeed, it was more like she was a mother responding to an infant's babble. The girl's name was Toei Kurokami. Black God? That's what her last name means, by the way. Kuro being black and Kami being God. The only way to describe her would be a wonder. She staggered to the seat in the back of the class next to the window like a ghost. As she did, the rest of the class averted their eyes or pretended they didn't notice her. Look, that's kind of rude. I mean, I'm fine with people ignoring me, but not everyone is. None of them budged in the slightest until they heard her take her seat. Ooh, I like this art. It bears repeating, but the only way to describe her would be a wonder. She always carried a Japanese doll with her and never let it go for even a second. There were whispers that it must be a cursed doll whose hair grew longer when you weren't paying attention. I think I recall isn't there like a Japanese myth about something like that? That said, there wasn't anything wondrous about it. It was just an eerie doll. Many wondered if she was even allowed to bring it to school. How would she not be? Yet no one said a word about it. What's more, Toei never let go of the doll, not even during classes. Yet no one said a word about it, even though she never held a pencil or opened a textbook. Even at that very moment, she just kept on holding the doll as she stared off into space. Miss Hinagata didn't even try to reprimand her. That went for the other teachers too. Listen, she's just different, okay? No matter what the subject was they were teaching, none of them told her to put it away. Far from it, they said nothing even when she would suddenly rise to her feet and leave the classroom. Listen, that could just be, you have some kind of special arrangement with, like, the staff at your school, because perhaps you work differently than other people, and you have different needs. So some schools will be able to make adjustments for people like that. She'd even done so that very day, staggering out of the classroom at the very beginning of social studies. Yet the social studies teacher hadn't reprimanded her. They asked if she was going to the infirmary again. Her head was in the clouds, regardless of the subject. There was no way the school could allow that. And yet, the whole school allowed Toei Kurokami. Again, she's probably just different. Chill. Her classmates would wonder if she was a ghost or if the teachers couldn't see her. Listen, I don't really like Another. It's kind of a bad anime in my opinion. The very notion was ridiculous, of course, but no one laughed. For they understood she was an ominous presence they'd do best not to get involved with. Look, she's in the main character seat, okay? In spite of that, the class was getting used to her existence and her strange habits. April was almost at its end, and the whole class had already mostly stopped paying her any mind.
黒髪さんって不思議な人だね。
あの子はそっとしてあげて。
黒髪がスス校の入試で合格点を出せたなんてちょっと信じがたいぜ。
Forget passing, no one could even imagine her holding a pencil. Natsuya's comment was on point. It confounded the mind to envision how she had been allowed to join the school in the first place. Look, everyone needs an education, okay? And some people just aren't like you.
黒髪家ってこの辺りでは有名な大金持ちだからね。
グレートマネーパワーで裏口ってわけかもな。
This guy talks like Okabe from Steins Gate, I swear.
そんなことを言っちゃ悪いよ。
But everyone thought so. No one believed she had been accepted through the proper channels. The more one thought of her, the more of a mystery she became.
1年の時からずっと黒髪さんはこんな感じなんだって。人形を抱いたまま授業も受けずにぼんやりして。
それじゃあテストとか補習とか大変じゃないかな。
何もかも特例らしいぜ。補習にも出なくていいし、そもそもテストの順位表に名前も出ねえらしい。
私の聞いた子もそう言ってた。
Indeed, they were ignoring her even now. The teacher should have been able to see her from where she stood, yet she continued with the lesson like nothing was wrong. That was very mysterious and, depending on one's mindset, eerie. You didn't exactly have much in common with her, so Suzumu hadn't really paid her any mind so far. Every school has its own troublemakers and quirky students. The types everyone ignores because it would be a pain to get involved with them. Toei was certainly occupying that role. That had been his only evaluation of her. But the more he thought now, the more conscious of her he became. Suzumu had never felt this way before. It was bizarre. Making sure the teacher wasn't watching, he looked back at Toei. She was staring blankly at the ceiling. She didn't so much as even glance at him. Yet for some reason, Suzumu's gaze was drawn to her. It wasn't exactly love at first sight. Deep down, Suzumu felt an unrest that was similar, yet completely removed from it. Was it anxiety, or a sense of responsibility? Sense of duty that said he needed to do something, perhaps? Not even Suzumu understood the strange feelings now roiling within him. Toei Kurokami. Just what was it about her?
ポツンと浮いててかわいそうだから声をかけようかなとか。
いや、
私はよした方がいいと思うよ。
Jill.
いい噂を聞かないし。
目が合うと呪われるらしいぜ。
そんなことあるわけないよ。
彼女のことを不憫に思って声をかけた女の子もいたって。
その話俺も聞いたぜ。
それでその女の子はどうしたの？
なんか精神を病んで最後には不登校になっちゃったらしいよ。
What if she just decided to ditch classes completely separate from whatever that was? It's making connections that are not necessarily there.
悪霊に取りつかれたとかで親と一緒にお祓いまでしたとかなんとか。
僕は信じないな。
Yuagiko Natsuya's eyes widened.
確かに彼女には少し近寄りがたい雰囲気があるよね。周りの人がちょっぴり不吉な印象を持ったとしても、でもだからって面白半分に広まったに違いない。そんな噂話を
ちょっとびっくり。案外進むって芯が強いんだね。 ね。
僕は人を見かけや噂話で評価しちゃいけないってずっと言われて育ってきた。僕だって僕のことをよく知りもしない人に外見や噂なんかで勝手に判断されたくない。
Yeah.
小学校の頃は顔が女みたいだって言ってよくからかわれたんだ。体がなよなよしていて男らしくないんだろうって一方的に言われて。
それに関しては俺も返す言葉がね。
Natsuya also had been convinced Suzumu was a weakling when he had first met him. He challenged him to that arm wrestling match as a prank, only for his opinion to take a direct 180 after the boy had soundly defeated him. Now realizing why Suzumu had taken up martial arts, Tsubakiko felt a little ashamed of herself.
周りの扱いが人を作ることもあると思うんだ。
Yeah, absolutely.
あの子だってひょっとしたら周りの扱いのせいでああいう振る舞いになってしまっただけかもしれない。
Very possible.
なるほどな。
話しかけたら意外にいい人かもしれないよ。
Even though it looked like they understood, it didn't seem like they wanted to talk to Toei Kurokami. I cannot speak. Toei Kurokami either way. Apparently, it wouldn't be easy for them to erase the sinister impression of her they'd built up in their minds.
なんだかそれが転校生の僕の使命のように思えてきたよ。
使命？またグレートなことを言い出すぜ。
I don't know what happened last year. That may be exactly why I need to be the one who talks to her. A flame had lit within Suzumu. It was telling him to go talk to her. Perhaps there was something she needed as well.
では次のページを
Oh,
誰に読んでもら
why
お
are
う
you
かしら
so close? Please get out of my
あっ
face.
たくん。
あ、はい。えっと。
Why is everyone in my face?
偉いね。人の評価に惑わされず自分で確かめたいって気持ちすごく尊敬できるよ。
当たり前のことだと思うけどな。
でもね、進む。愚者は経験に学ぶって言葉知ってる？
知らない。何それ？
私もどこの偉人が言った言葉かは知らないけど。
Give me a sec. Otto von Bismarck. I'm just looking. Duke of Lauenburg was a conservative German statesman who masterminded the unification of Germany in 1871 and served as its first chancellor until 1890, in which capacity he dominated European affairs for 2 decades. Politics is the art of the possible. Laws are like sausages. It is better not to see them being made. There was a providence that protects idiots, drunkards, and children. Idiots, drunkards, children in the United States of America. I'm just reading quotes of this guy. What is he known for? Same thing. Okay. Sorry, I'm just looking at this. Saying kind of a mixed track record with this guy, but I guess it isn't that important.
愚者は経験に学び、賢者は歴史に学ぶ。
I'd never heard that before, but I could guess what it meant.
10階建てのビルの屋上から 飛び降りれば死ぬ。誰でも知ってるよ。でもスズムはそれを自分で体験しない限り信じないって言ってる。
Oh, fuck off.
危険を避けるために人々の累積した知識、歴史に耳を傾けるべき時もあるんじゃないかな。
The heck are you talking about? You don't even know this girl.
そんな大げさな話じゃないよ。
Yeah, seriously. Like, it's just talking to someone. Chill.
黒髪さんに話しかけたら僕が死んじゃうなんて。
Yeah.
ある。
それはそうだけど、
Yeah, no, sit down and shut up.
でもみんなが彼女を敬遠し薄気味悪く思い、その蓄積された歴史を無視して我が身で確かめようとするスズムは、
Yeah.
ひょっ
Yeah,
とした
yeah,
ら
I do.
命知らずかもしれないよ。
Why? Chill. It hadn't been that long since I'd reunited with Kiko, but I'd never seen her look so serious. It was a shockingly stern expression, like the face a mother makes when scolding her child for trying to run out into the streets when the light was red.
私の第六感的なものがささやくの。スズムは黒髪さんとは関わる。
You know, intuition, and like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, gut feelings is psychologically, like, in the field of psychology, proven to be usually wrong. So, this is more reason to talk to her.
キコちゃん。
私止めたからね。
Not gonna lie, everything about this Kiko girl makes me not like her. And we are quite a while past the 30-minute mark, so I believe this is where I'm gonna be ending the video. Let's go ahead and save. Thank you guys so much for watching. I go by Tasty Nachos, and you go bye.